COVID got you down? I hear you. It sucks. Isolation, the unknown, fear for the health of ourselves and those we care about. It sucks. But there's a bit of silver lining, which is pretty awesome with this whole thing. It's not a painting overall nice and glossy, but a couple very real treasures that have or can emerge from this time. Check out just a couple gifts from this mess. First, our own mortality. We're going to die. I'm going to die, you're going to die, everybody you know will one day die. It's the nature of things. And with status quo, particularly here in the United States, it seems like we're made out of plastic. Meaning, in times of normalcy and prosperity, it seems like how things are is unchangeable, like plastic. Well, it's not true. Mortality. What does the reminder of this biological reality give us about how we're going to die? Well, mortality is an invitation to create while you can. Mortality is an invitation to create while you can. With infinite time looming in times of normalcy and prosperity, we sucker punch ourselves into bad habits, a drone-like existence, putting off the highest potential of what we have to offer. Forgetting mortality, we live a lukewarm existence, more observers of the movie than a conscious contributor to the unfolding of this big, giant story. What do you want to create? What do you want to do, to say, to be, to heal? Every one of my friends has gifts. I love it when they come to fruition. But what do you want to do, to say, to be, to heal? This is a limited time offer. It's always been a limited time offer. Your mortality is not something new. It's not something that will go away. What little dance, what wildness are you determined to do between here and that end? There's a sense that this is a time for the history books, a legend in the making, the time of COVID. All this builds up to the sense that we are at a crossroads. That means you get to make new choices. Early on in this COVID madness, I took up doing mosaic arts. I haven't done much with visual arts in more than a decade. I made 1, 2, and kept going until I got 6 huge mosaics I've done. When I'm doing art, my mind is calm and serene. There is no concern about disease or tomorrow. And there's so much more I want to create. When I create, I'm the moment. Neurologically, spiritually, emotionally, I'm right in there. The process of creation brings me right wherever I am. And afterwards, there's this touchstone, a creation, a work of art by which I can feel inspired to reconnect with that moment again and again. This moment, the one we're in right now. Call on some of your old knacks. You have some figure painting talents from back in the day. You wrote some stories about cowboys, ninjas, and pirates. You sang like David Bowie. Rad. Being reminded the clock is ticking. Which one of these are you going to do today? Send me a link to your art, stories, music. Thank you, mortality. Also, as confidence in the structures of governance wanes, with all its flimsy response and sometimes over-response to COVID's dangers, as confidence in the structures of governance reduces for whatever reason, we are pushed to at least consider relying more on ourselves. And what's more American in the best sense of the word than self-reliance? I don't mean we're necessarily growing our own food, making our own clothes, or homeschooling, although I think doing some of these activities might be very empowering, but we're disengaging from leaning on the structures of government and economics. Even buying everything online, we are discovering how much we are a product of the institutions around us. Externally, perhaps that doesn't need to change. Externally. But internally, this is a great time to see through the illusion of permanence that we project onto these structures. It's a great time to tune into the self within us. I think of being a castaway or a soldier in war, when the stabilizing forces of our lives shake or crumble. We can rely more easily, realize a more authentic self-reliance when those dependencies are shaken up. We can restructure the narrative of how we fit into civilization of today. What part of the tribe are we playing? Who are you stepping up within humanity's tribe? A follower, a healer, lazy complainer, a hunter, pretender that nothing's happening, wise one, fire keeper? What role are you? This is the time to step up into our truth. Who is it that you really are? Or as Bruce Springsteen says, you can't start a fire worrying about your little world falling apart. What keeps you from getting that fire going now? Each day, I embrace my role as a father more and more. That means to be as deeply present with my daughters and wife as I can be. It's not a forced thing, it's natural and joyful. It's a fire I want to feed with all my care. It's something that government, schools, and even finances cannot do for me. COVID's a wake up call screaming, there's no substitute for being who you choose to be. There's no one that can do your role for you. This time means something different to everyone. I hope this reminder of your mortality inspires you to create something beautiful, to do something kind, to dance all wild while you can. I hope you discover great detachment from the structures that pull you from your own presence and sense of authentic self. It's not the banks, the government, or the media that needs to define you. It's your own passion and commitment that can cultivate whoever it is you need to be. May this crossroads lead you to be someone that's compassionate to all, cultivating peace and understanding, and seeing beyond the fear that a pandemic tempts us with. May this time guide you towards greater courage, to be available to those in need, to be gentle with yourself, to flow more towards your ideal instead of resisting what is not ideal. May you walk aligned with your highest values.